Hey everyone, welcome back to the new video. And today's video we are going to learn how you can create a Google login system with the help of PHP and MySQL. So basically we are going to use MySQL as a database to store all the login details. And yeah, let's start. So first of all, let's create a project folder in and open it in Visual Studio Code. I already have done that part, and I have two files right here. You just can ignore these two files because I want to upload these to GitHub to share you guys to the code. So you don't need these two files actually. Alright, so I already have instructions right here, and this is the readme file of the my GitHub repository actually, so you can easily access this. I'll give you the link in the video description box so you can easily access this page from there. And I'll also going to upload all the code files over here over on this repository. So yeah, so you can just read all this through, or maybe you can watch this video. So yeah, that will be easy for you, I think so. Okay, so let's start now. And yeah, let's start XAMPP server. I already have done that part, so you can start XAMPP and start the Apache MySQL. And then let me just open up the project folder in my browser. So I have a folder in my stocks folder called YouTube, and we have PHP Google login folder. So yeah, for now in this folder we don't have anything. So yeah, let's create some files here. First of all, we'll create index.php file, and if I go here and refresh, you can see this create, right? So now what we can do is to just open this GitHub, and you can see here is the screen, the instructions. So let me show you how you can do that. First of all, you have to create a new project in Google Console tab. For that, you can open up console dot google.com. okay, you can see the link here, but I think it's, you can search for console Google Console, and you can see here console.cloud.google.com, right? You can click on that, and you have to log in with Google account. So let me just log in over here. So once you have logged in, this is going to open the dashboard of the Google Cloud. And yeah, it's just opened, and now we have to create a new project, right? So okay, so you have to create on, if you go over in dashboard, you can see right here, you can click on this. This will be called something like select a project, something like that. So if you click on that and click new project, and then call this something like Google login, or your project name, right? So I said this Google login for now, and then click create. Once you have done that part, and then if you select this project what you have already created, now click on this and then click open. This is going to open your created project, right? And now what you have to do is click on dashboard, and then you can see this page, and click APIs and services. Right here you can see OAuth consent screen, right? Click on this, and then it's opening. Once it's done, you have to create a, you have to set up your project, right? So right here you can select internal or external. So external means anyone can use this project, so we need external, right? So click on external and create, and then you have to provide the app name right here, and this name will display right here once the user will try to log in right here. So I'm gonna give this to test Google login. You can put here your project name or your company name, whatever you have, and then click on user support email and select your email. Then you can put your logo right here, so the logo will appear right here on this field. But for me, I'm not going to provide the logo. You can provide a logo with the extension JPG, PNG, or maybe BMP, and 120 pixels width and height. And then you have to put the domain right here, your application homepage. So you can put these if you are using, like, if you are deploying it for production, but for me I'm not going to provide these information because we're just going to test it with the local host, right? And now right here you have to put your developer contact information. So in this case you can put your own email. So let me just put here and hit enter, and then click save and continue. Now it's configuration, and then scroll down and click save and continue again, then click save and continue again, scroll down, and then click back to dashboard. So now here you can see all the details, and yeah, so if you click on credentials on the left hand side, you can find all the credentials and correct credentials, by the way. Okay, actually if you go here and click publish, this is going to be for the production. So for us, we're not going to production it, we're just testing. So if you are deploying it as production, you can publish this app. And now click credentials and click create credentials, and now select OAuth client ID from here. So right here you have to select application type, and for us it's web application. And now put your name, put the project name. So in this case I'm going to put YouTube Google login. You can put anything right here. This is not going to see any users or something like that. And now scroll down and set up a redirect URL. You can set up multiple redirect URLs, but for us we're just going to set up one redirect URL. What will be our website URL right here, this one. After user logged in which URL the user will redirect, so you have to put that URL. So let's create a welcome.php right here, and then what I have to do is, after creating this, let's say h1, and then let's say welcome, and right here we'll say welcome.php. So you can see this page. So let's copy this and put that here, and now click create. Once you have done this, just created your OAuth credentials. So now you have to copy this client ID and client secret. You can also download this JSON, but let's copy this and let's create a new file and put that here. We will need these for for the security. So let's say client ID. This is the client ID, and then this is for client secret. Oh, sorry, this one. Yeah. And now click OK. Also this redirect URL we are going to need, so let's redirect URL, and let's stop this here. Alright, so this is the thing we have to do on this panel. And now go back to code. You can see in repository all the instructions, by the way. Now you have to do is install the Google Client API with the help of Composer. So if you don't have Composer, you can install it. For that, search in Google get Composer. So you can see a website, open that and click download button, and then you can see Composer setup.txt for Windows. If you are in Mac or Linux, you can type with the command. For Linux, you can say some sort of sudo apt get install Composer or something like that. So you can also see the installation process of the Mac and Linux right here. So yeah, after install, just open your terminal. I'm going to open the Visual Code Editor integrated terminal. So open the terminal here, and then what I have to do is go in the repository and copy this command: Composer require Google/API client and 2.0, right? Just copy this and put that here. Right click to paste, right, and hit enter. So this is going to be install Google API client SDK to our project directory. So this has generate vendor folder, and then two files called json dot composite dot json and composite dot. So yeah, now let's go ahead and you can see this get started code. You can just copy this code to your index.php or maybe your login.php, right? For us, we don't have any login.php, that's why we are using index.php, right? And now right here you have to put your client ID, client secret, and redirect URL. So we already have this information right here, so let's copy these and put there. Client ID over here, and then we have the client secret. Actually you don't have to share these things, these informations to anyone else, because if you share, anyone can use your credentials to log in the users. So yeah, don't share this and keep it private. I will delete the project after recording this video, so I just sharing to show you guys how it works. Alright, so now it's installing, so let's just wait for that, and let's alright, so it's just installed all the files right here. It can take a few minutes depending on your internet connection. Okay, so now let's try to run this file right here. If I go here and let's say index.php, and okay, I have to save this value. If I save it and refresh, this has a link. What is right here? If I try to explain you, we're just storing all the credentials right here first, then creating a Google client, right? And this coming from this autoload, right? You have to also include this autoload file, and then setting the client ID with this client variable, I mean object, then setting client secret and redirect URI. Then we're needing some information regarding email and profile, so we set the scope to email and profile. Then we're checking if the code is set to URL, like this code will set to URL when the login is successed. So yeah, so if it's set, then do this part over here. I mean, first the token from this code, then get the client information with this token, and then we're getting this all the information from here. And otherwise just show a link and set the link with the create auth URL function. So this is going to return a login URL. Alright, so now if I click here, and if I click to my Google account, this has redirected me to this page, like welcome page, right? So okay, so it's fine. Now if I go over here and let's just copy this, move this all code to welcome.php, right? Let's just put it over here, and we also need to require this file, and we don't need this file. Let's close it right here. So now after that by the way, let's create a config file here, config.php, to store this credentials. Let's just move these credentials to config file, so this can be a little bit safe. So config.php, just include it over here, and then we're just going to include it over here too. Now what you have to do is yeah, so it's returning this code, right, with the welcome.php. So I get this code right here, and then actually we need these things too. Let's move this to config file, and yeah, now right here it's just show the link here, and then we need this autoload over here to include, and we don't need to include this in this file too. Okay, so if the code is in URL, this should set the email and name variable here, but we don't need this for now. We'll just delete that and print underscore r the Google account info. Also, let's say pre tag here to just be more, you know, more formatted code. So if I save this file, config file and index.php file, and if I go and open index.php file over here and click Google login, it redirect me to the login page, right? If I click over here, this is logged in and we have all the information regarding this email account I have logged in. So basically we don't need these things, we just need these things where we can see email, family name. The family name means last name, then gender, given name means the first name, right? Then ID, we don't have this link link. You can see the local, so this is the by default language of the user. And then you can see this name right here, the full name over here, and then the picture. So if I try to open this URL, you can see the picture of the user, right? And then verified email, so if the email is verified or not. Alright, so we are going to just insert all the things into our database. So let's just go ahead and open up my PHP MyAdmin. Then I run this tab, but for now let's close this. Let's zoom out, and then it's opening, and we're going to create a new table here, I mean database. Let's call that PHP Google login, or maybe say YouTube Google login, right? YouTube Google login. And if we click create, this just created, and then we can create a new table here called users, and we need some information, right? So first of all we need ID, then email, then we have the family name, we have gender, we have given name, we have this ID, we will use this ID as a token, then we have this local, and then name, and we have the picture. Also we have the verified email. So it says total 9 table, I think so. If I say 9 and click create, this will give us the 9 tables, and we will just say ID first one, and then auto increment should be checked. And then this ID is not this ID, by the way. We are going to store this ID as a token, right? So yeah, this ID will be a unique ID of auto increment ID. And then we need this email, and we'll say worker, it should be 100, I think. And then we need this family name, you can say this to last name or something like that. So yeah, I'll say this last name, or maybe you can say first of all first name first, then you can just say 50 limit, then last name will be worker and 50 limit 2 as defined. So by the way, I'm adding this as defined because in a lot of servers, if you if you don't have any values for the last name or something, any other columns, it's just error, and it don't create any row in the database. So this is why if you say as defined blank, this is going to be a blank value as defined if you don't have any value for that column. Yeah, now let's go ahead and store this gender. I don't know why this gender is blank, but let's store it. Yeah. Now let's say as defined, and then if I go ahead and copy this name, I mean this is the full name, so let's say full name, and then we'll say this to be 100, and then as defined. Also we have the picture, so we'll say picture, sorry, worker, and then we'll say 205, and we have the verified email. So let's say verified email, and worker, I mean this should be int, and then as defined should be 0, right? And last thing, we have this ID, so we will use this ID as a token. So it's a token, and this will be worker 255 and as defined. There we go. Now if I click save, this will create a table in our database, and we have this brand new table. Now let's insert the user information with this table if it don't if it don't exist in our table. So let's go here, and in config file let's create a configuration of our database. First, connect to database. We'll say server name, or maybe host name will be better. Host name will be localhost, and then username should be root, $password should be blank for the local host, yeah, and then database. So the database is this one, YouTube Google login. So let's just copy this database name, remove the blank spaces, and there we go. Now create a connection variable. You can say MySQL connect, and then we'll say hostname first, then username, then password, and then database. So there we go. And now let's go over in our welcome.php. We will go over here, and let's extract the information first, by the way. So we'll say user info. This will be an array. We're going to store all the information from here to our array. So first of all, we need the email. Will be $Google account info, and we have this email, right? Put it here. Then we're going to copy this multiple times, and yeah. So let's say family name, or maybe first name first. First name will be given name, and then last name, what is this family name, right? Then we have the gender, and this name. This will be the full name. Full name, and put it here. Then we have the locally. I think okay, we don't need the locally because yeah, we don't need that, and we also didn't have created any row for that. I mean the column. Yeah. So let's create this picture. We'll have the picture, and we have the verified email, and lastly we have this token. Where we go? Token. This ID, by the way. This will be the token. That's the token. Okay. So I have all the information on this array extracted. Now this part. Now checking if user is already exists in database. So let's say SQL select star from users, and then we'll say where clause email will be some sort of like user info email. So we're going to validate it by email. So if the email is already existing in our database, this is just going to log in with the user, right? So yeah, let's result MySQL query connection variable, and again we are going to get this connection variable from config file right here, and then we'll say SQL, right? And then we have to find, like, we have to check if there's any row with this condition, right? To do that, you can say MySQL number rows, and we'll say result up to 0. So this is going to return how many rows we have with this condition. So if it up to 0, then this exists, right? User is exists. Otherwise, user is not exist. Yeah. So if user is not exist, we're going to insert it, right? create another SQL and say insert into users. We have these things. First of all, we have the email, then first name, then we have the last name, gender, full name, picture, and verified email. Lastly, we have this token. So we're going to set this to the values. We have this, right? So it's a user info, email. First one is the email, right? This one. And then let's copy this, do another one. Also put the single quotes here, otherwise you will get an error and this will not going to create a row in the database. So then we have the first name, and then we have the last name, then we have gender, then full name, picture, if it's verified or not, verified email, verified email, and then lastly we have this token. Alright, I think SQL query is fine. Now let's create the result. MySQL query, connection, and then SQL. If if the result is, true, it means if it created, show here some user information, right? Otherwise, show here some user is not created. User is not created yet. Now let's say user is created. We're going to store all, show all the information of this user, of this current user here. So yeah, let's go here and then we'll say user info, user data, yeah, MySQL fetch a sock and this result there. So this is going to be fetch all the user information from this column, from this table, yeah. And now what I have to do is, after these things, we're going to just save the user data into session, user token, by the way. So what we can do is $session. First of all, we have to set start the session. So we can say start session start. You can also use cookies for that, but for me I'm not going to use that. Yeah, so let's say user token equals to the user info token. This token will get from this user info array right here, and we have this token. Yeah, so actually we can create a variable here called token and store the user token from this user data, right? Because this token will generate multiple times based on the logging. So yeah, we can just store here, and then for right here we can store the token. We can say die here, by the way. We can say token and $user info, we have the token, and we're going to just store this token variable here. Yeah, now yeah, done. Now we have to show the user information over here. To do that, we can go here and we can just edit this. Then we'll say HTML welcome, and then we can say some sort of, first of all, the image will show here. We'll specify a width of 90 pixels and height of 90 pixels. So right here we can say we can use the PHP syntax to echo right here, and this user info, then we have the picture, then we are going to show name, full name, or maybe we can say li, and then full name would be some sort of full name. We can copy this, and it's a gender, or maybe something like email first, email address, we'll say email, and then we'll say gender, we will have the picture. Okay, we've done that. Okay, I think this is fine, we just need this thing for now. Alright, so if I save this file and go over here, if I try to open, okay, one more thing we have to do in index.php is if, let's say session start first, if is set $_session and then the user token, this is going to redirect with welcome.php, right? Welcome.php, because if the user is already logged in, we don't want him to log in again, right? Alright, here if the code is set, then do this, otherwise okay, that's fine. So let's say if user token is not set, then let's say login, right? And we'll say die. Yeah, that's fine. Or maybe we can also include this file over there. Yeah, I think that will be fine if I just include the index.php here. So if I go here and refresh, I already have okay, so start ignoring session. Alright, so I already have start session in here and also in here, so we don't need to do that. We can delete these and we can put the session start in config file. So yeah, refresh. If I go over here and delete them, oh okay, so if I go and refresh now, done. So if I click here, why it didn't work, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so code is set here, but let's try with removing this code here. Refresh. Okay, done. It means let's say if not user is exist, then I mean if not user logged in, then redirect him to index file, what is login file. So if I go here and open up, okay, here's some errors because we have to set die right here. Refresh. Oh okay, I see. So this user info variable, I mean this user info is not exist here, right? If the code is not set in URL. So to getting these informations again, we can say else right here, or maybe just say, and you can say like this, and then you know, let's say, well, let's say else, because we don't need to request the server to get the details again, because we are going to get these details from here. And let's change this variable name to user info, so this is going to be replaced this, and we have the same keys on the table and here, so this is not going to generate any error. And here what we can do here is let's copy this code, actually yeah, copy this code, and let's remove this and this too, Otherwise, let's we're going to create also. Okay, let's go here first and say this email to be token, and this will be from our session variable. So session user token, like this. So yeah, this is going to be here, user info. I think it should be fine for now. If I refresh, yeah, there you go. So we have all the information right here. I mean, not all, but what we just showed. Let's create a logout link here. Anchor tag, it's logout.php, logout, and we're also going to create a file called logout.php, and in here we're going to just say session start, session destroy, or if you want to unset a specific session variable, you can do that, but it's session and user token, and then you can say session destroy, and then header, let's say location to index file. Yeah, so yeah, let's save this file and let's go here, refresh, and if I click logout, it logged out. If I try to open welcome.php, it redirect me to index file, right? If I click here, oh wait, okay, so yeah, what we have wrong here is in welcome file we should put this in here, I mean in below right here, in else part of the code, right here. So if I refresh and if I click here, this works, right? So this automatically logged in because this automatically generates the Google account to the to the website. That's why it's automatically logged in. Yeah, so if I try to open index file again, index.php, it redirects me to welcome.php, and yeah, that's it. Also, it creates a new row in our database with the user information right here, as you can see. And we have just done the Google login, and yeah, this was the highly requested video. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoy the video, please subscribe to this channel so you will get the latest video notification first. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.